Hello, wonderful audience. You're in for a treat today, as this tale is one that deserves your full attention. Picture stepping into a venture you nurtured from its inception, only to discover it deteriorating from within. That's precisely what transpired with Lucas Grant, the CEO of a leading auto repair chain, who went incognito to reveal the startling reality of his own business. What did he discover? Overlooked, inadequate service, and staff grappling with ineffective management. Yet, there's an unexpected turn. He not only revealed the issues, but also revolutionized the whole environment. Join us on this remarkable adventure. Lucas Grant occupied his corner office, his gaze fixed on the latest customer feedback reports. A deep frown etched across his face. On paper, Grant's Automotive appeared to be flourishing. The revenue remained consistent. The plans for expansion were progressing as intended, and the quarterly reports appeared encouraging. Yet hidden from plain sight, an alternate narrative was taking shape. Customer complaints had been accumulating, illustrating a concerning scenario of diminishing service quality, discourteous staff, and unforeseen fees for unwarranted repairs. Nearly 15 years ago, Lucas embarked on a journey, establishing his first auto repair shop from scratch as the founder of the company. In those days, he was on a first-name basis with every mechanic, took great pride in delivering exceptional service, and embraced a hands-on method to ensure customer satisfaction. As the enterprise expanded into a network of more than 20 establishments, he entrusted greater responsibilities to his managers, relying on them to maintain his high standards. At this point, it became evident that something was being overlooked. Driven by a desire to uncover the truth, Lucas resolved that he must witness the situation firsthand. However, he was aware that if he entered one of his stores as the CEO, the staff would certainly be on their best behavior. He would fail to grasp the true essence of what was unfolding. Instead, he crafted a strategy. He would assume the guise of an ordinary patron. In an effort to remain inconspicuous, he sought the expertise of a skilled disguise artist who provided him with a somewhat unkempt beard, a set of glasses, and a casual outfit that allowed him to seamlessly merge into the crowd. Under the alias Eric Dawson, he arranged for a standard maintenance service at one of his mid-range locations, situated in a bustling suburban shopping area. Lucas selected this particular shop due to the numerous customer complaints it had garnered in recent months. While it may not have been one of the standout locations, it had consistently delivered solid results in the past. If circumstances had deteriorated here, it probably indicated more significant problems throughout the organization. Upon entering the parking lot, he inhaled deeply, reminding himself to maintain an objective perspective. This was not merely about identifying problematic employees, it was about comprehending the underlying issues and discovering a solution to rectify them. With that in mind, he exited his car and approached the entrance, prepared to unveil the reality of his own enterprise. Upon entering Grant's Automotive, Lucas was instantly taken aback by the chaotic scene before him. The waiting area, intended to provide a pristine and inviting atmosphere for patrons, appeared to be in disarray. The floor bore the marks of grease, the chairs showed signs of wear, and in the corner, an old coffee machine stood neglected, its pot cloaked in a layer of dried residue. A disordered countertop, strewn with loose papers and an incessantly ringing phone, painted a vivid picture of chaos from the very start. Lucas surveyed the room, observing the array of customers seated around him, their faces reflecting a spectrum of emotions from mild annoyance to clear exasperation. At the front desk, a young woman named Emily was deftly managing a whirlwind of tasks all at once. She was fielding phone calls, rifling through files, and trying to assist a man who was waiting impatiently at the counter. In the face of evident pressure, she upheld a courteous and professional demeanor, expressing regret for the hold-up. Yet her colleague Travis lingered nearby, propped against the counter, his gaze fixed intently on his phone. He appeared utterly indifferent to the increasing queue of customers. Lucas noticed Emily casting a fleeting look his way, evidently seeking help, yet Travis merely exhaled in frustration and kept scrolling. Lucas chose to bide his time in line, seizing the moment to eavesdrop on the exchanges between customers. A woman at the front of the line expressed her frustration, noting that her car had been in the shop for 2 days longer than what had been promised. "I simply require an update," she stated, her frustration evident. "My calls are going unanswered." Without raising his gaze, Travis murmured, "We're short-staffed. A call will come your way once it's prepared." His tone carried a sense of disregard, leaving the woman's expression one of shock and disappointment. Emily, catching wind of the conversation, swiftly interjected. "I can look into that for you, ma'am," she said, her smile warm and reassuring. "Please hold on for a moment." As Lucas stepped forward for his turn, he approached the desk with a calm and composed demeanor. "There is a maintenance appointment scheduled under the name Eric Dawson, as he mentioned." Emily acknowledged with a nod and swiftly located his reservation. "Excellent, Mr. Dawson. Your car will be checked in shortly. It ought to take roughly an hour," she remarked, deftly managing 2 distinct tasks simultaneously. Lucas grabbed his key and moved aside, but not before he overheard Travis mumble, "Another one?" "Excellent," Lucas scowled. The absence of professionalism was unmistakable, and as he glanced toward the garage, he was certain of one thing. He was merely beginning his journey. Lucas settled into the waiting area, nonchalantly watching the proceedings like any other patron. As he continued to observe, an increasing number of issues came into focus. A small group of customers found themselves waiting far beyond the promised time, and the tension in the atmosphere was unmistakable. A weary father glanced at his watch, his 2 energetic children fidgeting beside him, while an elderly gentleman grumbled quietly about the poor service. Lucas cast a quick look at the service bays, where mechanics hurriedly darted between vehicles. He quickly identified the core problem: disorganization and a deficiency in leadership. From his perspective, Lucas observed Jordan, one of the mechanics, crouched beside a car, wrench in hand, visibly exasperated. "Hey, do you know where the part for the Ultima is?" he shouted. Another mechanic simply shrugged, still waiting on it. "It has been a week since we last had stock available." Jordan let out a frustrated groan and shook his head in disbelief. "So why did they inform the customer that we could complete it today?" No one seemed to have a response. Lucas sensed the strain in the air. The mechanics toiled diligently, yet the disarray of the shop's supply system led to unwarranted delays and a breakdown in communication with customers. At that moment, Lucas noticed the shop manager, Rick, leaning against the back door, casually sipping his coffee with his arms crossed. In stark contrast to his frazzled staff, he appeared utterly unfazed by the turmoil enveloping them. Every few moments he stole a glance at his phone, hardly paying attention to the mechanics or the customers around him. Lucas made the choice to put him to the test. Rising to his feet, he strolled over to Rick with an easy demeanor. "Hey, it seems like there's a lot going on. Is this backlog a regular occurrence for you all?" Rick glanced at him briefly before letting out a soft chuckle. "Indeed, the past few weeks have been challenging, yet customers tend to voice their grievances about nearly everything." "What can one do?" he remarked with a shrug. Lucas arched an eyebrow. "It appears that many of the mechanics are facing challenges due to absent components. Is that a common occurrence?" Rick let out a heavy sigh, his disinterest evident. "That's a problem for corporate, not for me," he remarked, then redirected his attention to his phone. Lucas tightened his jaw. This exemplified the very mindset that resulted in poor service. Rather than intervening to assist, Rick was withdrawing from the issues, allowing his team to struggle under ineffective management and a flawed system. Individuals like Jordan were striving diligently amidst challenging circumstances, while patrons in the waiting area remained uninformed. Lucas had reached his limit. He was resolute in his quest for deeper understanding, yet one fact was undeniably clear: changes were imperative, and they needed to happen swiftly. Lucas made his way back to the front desk, where the queue of irritated customers had only continued to expand. He showed up precisely when another catastrophe began to unravel. A man in his middle years, his complexion tinged with rage, forcefully dropped a receipt onto the counter. "This invoice exceeds the amount I was originally quoted. Didn't approve any of these charges," he exclaimed, his voice escalating. Travis hardly lifted his gaze from the screen of his phone. Prices fluctuate occasionally. You really ought to have read the fine print, he remarked, his voice dripping with indifference. The customer's jaw clenched. Is this for real? The estimate I received for my repair was $300. So you're saying it's $600 now? Travis released a dramatic sigh. If there's an issue, please address it with the corporate office. I simply make phone calls to people, Lucas observed with a sense of incredulity. This was more than just poor service. This was blatant robbery. Customers were experiencing more than just inadequate treatment. They found themselves coerced into financing services they had not consented to. Before things could spiral out of control, Emily intervened. Sir Mayfou, I examine your invoice, she inquired, drawing the document closer to her. She glanced over it swiftly, her expression darkening. I understand the problem. An additional diagnostic fee appears to have been included that shouldn't exist. I'll take care of that for you immediately. The man's shoulders eased a bit. Thank you, he whispered. Yet Travis couldn't help but roll his eyes. Emily, what's the point of your efforts? Simply let him go on his journey. Lucas had reached his limit. He advanced, maintaining a steady yet resolute tone. Could I please speak with someone else? You don't appear to be very keen on offering assistance, he remarked, fixing his gaze on Travis. Travis let out a derisive laugh. What seems to be the issue? I am fulfilling my responsibilities. Lucas maintained his stare. Are you? He inquired, his tone unwavering. For the first time, Travis appeared unsure. He shifted uneasily, but before he could say anything, Lucas turned and walked off. He had witnessed more than enough. The chaotic state of the shop, coupled with Rick's indifference and Travis's blatant animosity towards patrons, made it evident that the issue extended beyond merely a handful of ineffective staff members. The culture was fractured. Lucas hesitated to unveil his true self, but transformation loomed on the horizon, and when it arrived, there would be no room for justifications. Lucas had witnessed more than enough. The utter absence of professionalism, the disregard for customers, and the inadequate leadership were simply intolerable. The moment had come to bring it to a close. He approached the manager's office, finding Rick once more sprawled in his chair, leisurely sipping coffee while scrolling through his phone. Lucas rapped on the door before entering the room. Rick glanced upward with a sense of languor. Indeed. What is it that you require? He inquired, hardly masking his disinterest. Lucas closed the door with a quiet finality, his face a mask of inscrutability. I need to speak with the person in charge, he stated with a composed demeanor. Rick wore a sly grin. That would be me, he remarked, reclining in his chair. Is there an issue with your vehicle, my friend? Lucas crossed his arms. There's definitely an issue, but it's not with my vehicle. With this whole establishment. He removed his glasses and lifted his hand, carefully stripping away the unkempt beard that had served as his disguise. As realization set in, Rick's complexion drained of color. I am Lucas Grant, he declared, with conviction. I hold the position of founder and CEO at Grant's Automotive, and I've been operating incognito for the last 2 days. Rick's lips parted, yet silence enveloped him. I have observed instances where customers were overlooked and charged excessively. I've observed team members putting in tremendous effort while you remain passive, and I've witnessed your workspace descend into chaos because you believe it's not your concern. Lucas edged forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. Well, this is your issue, and I can no longer stand by as you lead my company to failure. Rick finally stammered. Hey, I wasn't aware that was the issue, Lucas cut in. You seem to overlook the situation, neglect to engage when your team requires support, and show little concern for the customers. He lowered his head, a wave of disappointment washing over him. Your suspension is effective immediately as I carry out a thorough investigation into this location. Depending on the findings, your position may not be available upon my conclusion. Rick remained motionless, unable to contest. Lucas retrieved his phone and dialed a number. Olivia, I require your presence at the shop immediately. Olivia, who served as the regional HR manager for the company, had been by his side for many years. She was straightforward yet just, and she had a knack for tidying up chaos. She was precisely the addition this shop required. After Lucas ended the call, he faced Rick once more. Bring everyone together. I'll be speaking to the whole team tomorrow morning, and believe me, there's a shift on the horizon. Lucas stepped out of the office, poised to seize the moment. This endeavor transcended the mere act of repairing a single shop. It was fundamentally about rejuvenating the very essence of his entire enterprise. The following morning, Lucas found himself at the heart of the break room addressing the whole team. The atmosphere was charged with intensity. The air was thick with tension as employees cast anxious looks at one another, uncertain of what lay ahead. Some, such as Emily and Jordan, appeared optimistic, while others, like Travis, seemed apprehensive. Rick, having faced suspension the previous night, was conspicuously missing. Next to Lucas was Olivia, the regional HR manager, holding a clipboard and prepared to help implement the essential changes. Lucas cleared his throat and spoke with confidence. Let's clarify something right away. I'm not here to penalize dedicated team members. I'm ready to mend what's been damaged, and based on my observations, it's evident that immediate changes are essential. He directed his gaze towards Emily first, her eyes growing wide as he spoke to her. Emily, you've been managing this front desk almost entirely by yourself. You've navigated irate clients with grace, rectified errors that weren't your doing, and taken the initiative when others hesitated. This is the type of guidance that our organization requires. Starting now, I am elevating your position to assistant manager. Emily inhaled sharply, her hands instinctively rising to her lips. Is this for real? Lucas beamed with delight, extremely grave. You truly deserve it. The room burst into applause, with Jordan's claps ringing out the strongest. Next, Lucas turned his gaze to Jordan, the beleaguered mechanic. Jordan, I noticed your efforts to maintain operations in the shop, even with the challenges of limited support and absent components. That situation is unjust for you, and it's not the way I wish for my team to be treated. Your hard work and dedication have earned you an immediate bonus, which I am pleased to approve. Jordan stared in astonishment. A little extra reward? Is that so? Lucas gave a slight nod. Absolutely, and as we progress, we're revamping our approach to managing parts inventory, ensuring you won't encounter these shortages in the future. At last, Lucas's eyes found Travis, who had retreated to the shadows of the room. Travis, your demeanor towards customers and colleagues has been unsatisfactory. Starting today, you will enter a probationary period and must undergo customer service training. Should there be no progress, a second opportunity will not be granted. Travis took a deep breath and nodded, his throat tight with unspoken thoughts. Lucas faced the group once more. Additional personnel will be brought on board. Those in leadership positions will face accountability. Changes are on the horizon, beginning now. The atmosphere transformed from doubt to optimism. Employees exchanged hushed words, understanding that this was more than merely a speech. Genuine progress was on the horizon. 2 weeks later, Lucas drove into the parking lot of the auto shop, this time unmasked. He had intentionally kept his distance to allow the team the space to adapt to the changes without the pressure of constant oversight. At this point, he was eager to determine whether the commitments he had made were being honored. Upon entering, the contrast was apparent right away. The waiting area, previously chaotic and overlooked, now exuded a sense of cleanliness and order. The coffee station was freshly stocked, and the front desk was manned by 2 employees who worked seamlessly, welcoming customers with a sense of professionalism. The previous tension had dissipated, giving way to a newfound clarity and vibrancy. At the front desk, Emily stood with poise, clipboard in hand, orchestrating the workflow and engaging with the staff. Her previously disheveled demeanor had transformed into the composed presence of a genuine leader. She caught sight of Lucas and lit up with joy. "Mr. Grant, I wasn't aware you would be here today." Lucas beamed. "Only Lucas is acceptable, and I intended for it to be a surprise. How are things progressing?" Emily's pride shone through unmistakably. "It has been truly remarkable. The team is now fully staffed, and there's a genuine sense of support among us. Olivia has been consistently following up, and the recent training sessions have significantly impacted progress." Lucas shifted his focus to the service area, where he noticed Jordan cleaning his workstation while engaging in conversation with a fellow mechanic. Upon spotting him, Jordan broke into a grin. "Hello, Mr. Grant. I must say the new inventory system has been a game changer. At last we have all the necessary components, and I can avoid spending half my day tracking down lost orders." "That's exactly the kind of response I was hoping for," Lucas said. "How is the workload treating you?" "Much easier to handle," Jordan remarked. "What about the bonus you provided me? At long last, my truck has been repaired. Say goodbye to the anxiety of punctuality at work." Lucas felt a sense of satisfaction watching Travis help a customer. His face lit up with a genuine smile. His earlier disregard had vanished, giving way to a sense of professionalism. Emily noted that he approached the customer service training with sincerity and was striving to improve. Throughout the day, Lucas engaged with different employees and conversed with several customers, all of whom expressed their admiration for the enhancements. The change encompassed more than merely enhancing service. The focus was on a transformation in cultural dynamics. During a subsequent staff meeting, Lucas spoke to the team. "Your progress is truly commendable, yet this is merely the start of your journey. The aim extends beyond merely repairing a single store. It's essential to ensure that every location operates in this manner. It all begins with you." The resounding applause that erupted revealed to Lucas all he needed to understand. This was not merely a short-term solution. A fresh benchmark had been established. As Lucas emerged from the shop that afternoon, a profound sense of pride and satisfaction washed over him. The change he had observed over the last fortnight was not merely about remedying a single struggling site. It was about establishing a new benchmark for his whole organization. For an extended period, he had depended on reports and financial statements to assess achievement. Yet this experience had shown him that figures don't always convey the complete narrative. The essence of Grant's Automotive's success lay in its people, both the employees and the customers who shaped its journey. Before departing, he convened the whole team for a concluding meeting. The events that unfolded here transcended mere tidying up a situation. It was about creating something more resilient, he stated, his voice steady yet uplifting. "It's clear that when those in charge take initiative and recognize the worth of their team, we foster an organization that earns genuine trust from everyone involved." He then shifted his gaze to Emily, Jordan, and the rest of the team. "This goes beyond merely one establishment. I am establishing quarterly site visits at each location and seek direct input from employees. If something isn't functioning properly, I prefer to be informed before it escalates into an issue." Olivia stepped forward, stating that they are also introducing an anonymous employee suggestion system, available both online and in person, ensuring that every voice is acknowledged. "Beginning next month, we will honor one exceptional team member from each location." Indeed, accompanied by bonuses. The group burst into jubilant applause at that final moment. As the meeting concluded, Emily made her way to Lucas, her self-assurance radiating. She expressed her thoughts with genuine sincerity, saying, "I never imagined I would have an opportunity like this. I appreciate your genuine attention and concern." Lucas beamed with delight. "You truly deserve this, Emily. This experience has taught me that maintaining a connection to the ground level is essential for effective leadership." As he drove away, Lucas pondered the events of the past few weeks. He entered that shop anticipating issues, yet he discovered commitment, perseverance, and staff who genuinely cared. It wasn't about penalizing errors. It centered on establishing a framework where excellence was acknowledged, challenges were confronted, and those in charge truly guided the way. This transcended a mere wake-up call. A pivotal moment arrived. Lucas was resolute in his commitment to ensure that Grant's Automotive would never stray off course again. Lucas Grant's Undercover journey imparts a profound lesson on the essence of leadership, the importance of accountability, and the value of maintaining connections. As organizations expand, it's common for those in leadership positions to become disconnected from the day-to-day activities, depending on reports rather, than engaging directly with the experience. Nevertheless, authentic leadership demands active involvement, attentively hearing employees and tackling underlying problems before they escalate. Through his intervention, acknowledging dedication and ensuring responsibility, Lucas transformed a struggling shop and established a new benchmark for his organization. The takeaway? Achievement goes beyond mere financial gain. It's about fostering an environment where team members are appreciated and clients enjoy the quality of service they rightfully expect.